Let's talk about PCOS. It's something I was born with, and actually I really didn't know until my husband and I started trying to have a child, which I can't. That's something I've had to come to terms with. Learning that and what my body went through after I went off of birth control was really devastating, mentally and physically. I had been on birth control since I was 14, 15 years old, and pretty much stayed on it up into my 30s. It was regulating or at least hiding my symptoms. Once I went off the pill, all the reasons that I went on it in the first place in my early teens came back like 3 times as bad. A lot of symptoms. And it took me another 10 years before I actually decided to try to handle this myself. There were a lot of doctor's appointments and specialists. The diagnosis is through elimination of other possible diseases. They don't ever actually test exactly for PCOS, but they test you for everything else that it might be. And if you don't have any of those, then you have PCOS. So it's a really long, frustrating process. That was a couple years of my life, just getting that sorted and figuring out what was wrong. After that, I remained on pharmaceuticals for several years, and it was impossible to lose weight. I was having no success. If you restrict your calories too much, you gain weight. If you work out too hard, you gain weight. Your body essentially releases cortisol in the stress response, and instead of having the results that most people get, people with PCOS will gain weight. Of all the doctors that I've seen, it seems like none of them really know a whole lot about PCOS. It's like, where am I supposed to get help for this? I think that's changing because it's becoming so prevalent, but it's been very difficult to get any answers other than this is just what you have to deal with. That's a really frustrating thing to hear from your doctor. And then they give you medications to try with no guarantee that they're going to work, and pretty much knowing that they're not. But let's try it. And I did that actually for a while, and I'm not going to do that ever again because there were so many negative results from that. It's like a nightmare just looking back on those years of just trying all of these different medications. When it got to the point where my insurance would no longer cover the birth control that I needed, then I had to go outside of the United States, and for a while it was from Canada and then India. A couple months after buying from India, I was like, why am I doing this? This is ridiculous. I'm obviously ignoring the signs. It's becoming harder and harder for me to treat these symptoms. So why don't I just try to treat the underlying disease? So eventually, about 13 months ago, I decided to just stop birth control. Stop all of the medications that I was on. I was basically medicating all of the symptoms of PCOS, but not medicating PCOS. So that's what I'm trying to do, and I've spent the last year just learning, and I feel like I don't know anything. Still, there's so much to know, and I feel like I've already forgotten a lot of it because brain fog. I've come a long way, even though there's still a long way to go. Like I'm starting to be able to lose weight again. It's a slow process, but it's actually starting to work. The depression is lifting, which is great. I have been able to get my period back, which I haven't had a period since I was in my teens. So that was huge, being able to do that. So I'm going to make a couple of videos just talking about what I've been trying so far, what's been working better for me, and I have found some things. But this is kind of fun, and thank you all for your support so far. I will talk to you again very soon.